In these modern times, people have grown bored of the same old bland flavors big companies constantly pump out. We've got 500 varieties of barbecue potato chips, and every soda imaginable is just some lemon-lime derivative. So I've scoured the internet in search of the strangest new flavors people want popular products to come out with. And in this video, I'm bringing suggestions to life that should probably never see the light of day. Who knows what we'll end up with here, but I apologize to no one.
And may God have mercy on us all.
First up, I'm gonna tackle Oreo. Now, Oreo already has a ton of flavors. Everything from caramel apple to gingerbread men. Heck, they even extracted the pure essence of love and put that in their cream somehow. Holy cow, they've created over 85 different flavors throughout their history. But you know, mankind is never satisfied, especially the good people over at Reddit, where I found this thread. Oreo gives you the chance to choose the next Oreo's flavor. What food flavor are you choosing? I imagine this will be interesting. So we've got some reasonable suggestions like oatmeal cream pie and maple. Then somebody wants a Carolina Reaper flavor, which can then be dunked into Pepto-Bismol. So we're creating the disease and the solution. Somebody said foam football flavor, which is, I assume, an acquired taste. I asked my wife and she said shrimp scampi. So I responded like shrimp flavored cookies with garlic buttercream center. She simply replies, yes. See, now this Oreo question is something you need to ask on a first date. If the person you're with says they want a garlic shrimp Oreo, it's time to get out of there. I mean, I think we have to go with this. So I've got your standard run-of-the-mill pack of Oreos here. I guess we can start by removing the quintessential cookie and milk splash to make room for some new abomination. I also think I'll scale this down to a normal sized pack, because nobody sane is going to be taking shrimp Oreos to a party. You'll be eating these alone where no one can see you. I also really like the little resealable flap that most of these packages have, so I'm going to add one of those in too. Then let's get the logo back on here and scale it up a bit, because we've got a jumbo shrimp to put on here, which I mean, this one in particular looks pretty tasty, but sadly he has been impaled by a wooden stick, so I'll rid him of that first. Now a nice soft drop shadow coming off the food like this, which is a pretty common style for most of Oreo's packages. Then some lighting on the shrimp to make it match, but leaving a little touch of bounce lighting along the edge here for some realism. I think I'll also have the logo cast a shadow onto the shrimp just to help separate those elements a bit more. Kind of doing a double layer of that just to really help build up that contrast. Now I grabbed this Oreo off a package of one of their other special flavors, and I think it'll look good right here in this corner. Remember, these were supposed to be shrimp flavored cookies, so we've got to make them at least a little bit red if they're going to look the part. Then a decadent color of beige for the garlic buttercream. I'm thinking if I make these little flakes green, then they should look like the herbs used in that garlic sauce covering the shrimp. Touch up the lighting here to add some more contrast between the layers, and a big soft shadow from the cookie falling on the shrimp, as well as the ground too, of course. Now, it would be understandable if somebody saw this Oreo and thought it was rancid, so why don't we add a little banner flowing out of it, which matches the green and creamy colors found inside our filling. And on it, I'll write that this is garlic butter and herb flavored cream, just so we have some extra clarity. Heck, while we're down here, we might as well just throw in a garlic clove as well, you know, just as a visual aid, and maybe even a little herb leaf overlaying that, because they are a team after all. Oreo also generally puts the special flavor directly above the logo, so I've got a nice fancy font for it, since shrimp is a high-class food after all, and that'll proudly proclaim that these are indeed garlic shrimp Oreos. A couple highlights up here to match the style of the logo, and I might even sprinkle some herb flakes across these letters to match the garlic and herb cream filling, wrapping it up with a dark cast shadow like everything else on here. Actually, let me get rid of this little flake real quick and scooch him up here so he doesn't make our text look messy. Now to push this the extra mile, I want a big bright glow coming from behind the shrimp to make it feel grand and epic, which will produce a slim little rim light around the edges, giving us that nice shiny garlicky look. For their special flavors, sometimes Oreo will add in some extra patterns to the background, something that relates to the central food item. So what about adding in some water refractions? Make it feel like we're floating beneath the ocean waves, the natural environment of these scampi shrimp. I also just can't resist adding a handful of bubbles in as well. There's just something about them that always brings a feeling of life to a design. Lastly, we've got a few bits of legal text that need to go here, especially the limited edition badge. Because unlike the numerous lame limited edition flavors that came before it, I am almost certain that garlic shrimp Oreos, if released, would quickly become a household staple all across the world. Now, a big thanks to the sponsor of this video, Oslo Sleep Buds. You might be wondering what sleep buds are. Well, you know how when you get ready for bed at night, brushing your teeth, swishing your mouthwash, and cozying up under the soft blankets ready for a great night's sleep. But then the noises around you have different plans. Well, Oslo Sleep Buds are especially designed to be worn at night, where they'll play science-backed sleep sounds that are engineered to cover up all those distracting noises. Normal earbuds are hard and uncomfy to lay on, and with over-the-ear headphones, you might as well be sleeping on a rock. But Oslo Sleep Buds are super tiny and comfortable even if you sleep on your side. You can start out playing anything like Netflix, audiobooks, or YouTube videos to put your mind in its happy place. And the buds will detect when you fall asleep, then they'll turn on their noise masking to keep you distracted disruption-free all night long, because these puppies last a full 10 hours. Plus, you can set in a built-in alarm to gently wake you up. The smart case they come with even gives you an additional 4 charges if you're on the go. You can get the best sleep of your life by scanning the QR code on the screen, clicking the link in my description, or using code BSD to get $10 off your pair of Oslo Sleep Buds. Now, what about doing some chewing gum next? Personally, it's something I can't stand, but with the world chewing 500,000 tons of gum per year, and nearly every person chewing around 1 stick per day, clearly there's room in the market for some unique flavors other than mint. Well, here is a Reddit thread with a whopping 9 comments, plenty to choose from. Crazy strawberry. It makes you go crazy and it tastes like strawberry. That is exactly what the world needs right now. Curry. Okay. Cheeseburger. Sometimes I just want the taste of a cheeseburger, but I'm not actually hungry. And then rolling up here at the bottom is Sojum, who just says ham. I mean, what could be better than pulling up to work in the morning with the fresh smell of porky pig on your breath?
Good, not great.
So I guess ham flavor it is. And out of the many popular gum brands in the world, I've chosen Extra. Just need to get rid of this nasty spearmint leaf so we can replace it with a big, beautiful ham. Speaking of which, there's a couple ham form factors we probably should consider. First off, we've got the Mega Chunker all-in-one ham loaf. Then its more attractive cousin, the net-tied glazed ham. And finally, the succulent, pillowy, folded sliced ham. Now to me, something like this is probably the best option because some people don't like skin on their ham, and we should respect that. So this is the picturesque ham I ended up going with. And on most Extra gum packs, they just kind of put the picture of the food right behind the logo, and then the background color is set to something that would complement it. Kind of like this dark burgundy that should really help the ham pop. Then the logo itself should also be a similar color to keep the design consistent. Now the ham in the image I got is apparently smoked ham, so I'll put that in a handwritten font that's similar to the one the original uses. Just need to give it the appropriate outlines. On this side, we'll put back in the number of sticks in the pack, and under here, we'll let people know this is naturally and artificially flavored. I have no idea how any part of ham chewing gum could be naturally flavored, but if modern man can make a toaster that burns Bob Ross's face into your bread, then I guess anything is possible. Now, how about a light little glow around the ham, mainly just so the logo can stand out more from the background? And you know, another thing the normal package does to help build up that separation is add this terrible looking drop shadow around all these central elements. Now, doing that is just against everything I stand for, but I am happy to do more of a standard shadow that's angled off to the side so we still get that effect of all of these things popping out. The logo also probably needs to cast a little shadow onto that ham as well. And really, the ham should have some extra lighting on it just from itself, because otherwise it's going to look pretty flat. Probably could even sharpen it up a bit so we see those nice hammy fibers deep in there. Now finally, Extra tends to make this really weird white blurry outline around everything. I don't really like that extreme of a contrast, but I do think having some streaks wrap around the outside edges with a couple little offshoots here and there, giving it a decent amount of blur, then masking it out to get a fade around the tips, gives us a really similar look. But in this case, kind of looks like smoke rising up, which makes sense because this flavor is smoked ham. Lastly, I'll pop in the Wrigley's text in this little slot in the logo, and we'll call this done. Well, now you can toss out your pathetic spearmint and watermelon gum flavors and become a real man with Extra's new smoked ham, a long-lasting gum. It'll give you that fresh piggy taste all day long. And since we haven't visited the freezer section quite yet, what about some ice cream this time around? Here we have what ice cream flavor that doesn't exist but should. I don't think that's even English. Well, there's a lot on here I can't show on YouTube. New York strip steak actually sounds pretty good. Orange juice and toothpaste. Somebody needs to put this guy on an FBI watch list. Okay, this is definitely the one. Hot dog water. That's just perfect. As you might get tell from the name, hot dog water is water left over from boiling hot dogs, something I firmly believe no one should ever do. Hot dogs were meant to be grilled and nothing else. And what if we just gave that terrible flavor to some really premium ice cream brand? I think there's one called Haagen-Dazs or something. And yes, I have verified that it is a premium ice cream made with high quality ingredients like real milk, fresh cream, free-range eggs, and hot dog water. So I'll start out with this cake pop flavor and just remove everything but the logo and the legal text and nutrition info. I think just putting a pile of liquid on here without any context is just gonna look weird and very uninformative. So let's go hunting for some pieces of hot dog to put on there for that added context. You know, I've been looking for a little bit, and for some reason it's just really hard to find sliced hot dogs. All they have are like the full-size ones. Well, my mistake was clearly that I needed to search for raw sliced hot dogs, because apparently no one ever cuts them up after they're cooked. Something like this will probably work. So let's pick out the best of the bunch and stick him somewhere here in the center. Then grab his friend and maybe stick him somewhere in the back, so we'll get a nice horizontal and vertical contrast. Looking at some of their other flavors, it seems like they just give the ingredients a nice soft shadow. Though on certain images, they do seem to get a little confused on which direction the lighting is coming from, so I guess I don't have to be too careful with my shadows either. Really, we just want something nice and cloudy with some extra darkness right on the base of the dogs, so they'll really pop out. A little more shading on the bottom to ground it, and one last little dab on the right side of this one. I do feel like we gotta bump up these highlights though, so this hot dog feels nice and juicy. Because you probably guessed it, it, but it is time for the actual water now. Now, this might shock some of you, but most stock sites aren't bursting with hot dog water images. This is about as close as we get. But if we do look at some examples, we can see that really we just need some gross, grimy liquid, and if we can get a few bubbles in there, all the better. Well, my friends, I have found the perfect specimen. That is just the most appetizing thing I think I've ever seen. It does need to be a little more pink though to match our hot dogs. And let's just bump up that vibrancy so we can get a good look at all those little floaty meat chunks in there. Then the flavor text can go right underneath that for extra clarity. And Lord knows we're gonna have to tell people that this is ice cream. Now on basically all of Haagen-Dazs's ice creams, they've got these really interesting minimal illustrations in the background. They've always got gold outlines and are filled with colors that are really similar to whatever food they're using, which just means I need a whimsical scene of cloudy swirls and hot dogs. I'll also add in a few circles to allude to the bubbles in the water as well. And then comes the coloring. The palette being pulled straight from the hot dogs here, giving us this gorgeous mix of desaturated mustard yellows and every brown color you were warned never to use. And with that, I am proud to say you'll no longer be stuck with boring vanilla and chocolate ice cream. Your world has been forever changed, so go grab life by the bun with the brand new Haagen-Dazs Hot Dog Water Premium Ice Cream. Well, if those designs didn't put you in a great enough mood, watching me turn boring minimal icons into super realistic works of art definitely will.